Hi, grade 8. Today we will continue our lesson Human Impact on Atmosphere. In this session, we will talk about air pollution. So, let's know what's meant by air pollution. Air pollution is the contamination of the atmosphere by pollutants from human and natural sources. Okay? Contamination of the atmosphere by pollutants from what? From human and natural sources. Natural sources of air pollution include what? Include volcanic eruptions, wildfires, and dust storms. Most air pollution comes from what? Most air pollution comes from what? Comes from burning of fossil fuels. Yes, what's meant by fossil fuels like oil, gasoline, and coal? Air pollutants classified into two types, gases and particulates. Let's start with gases pollutants. Gases pollutants include carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and ground level ozone. These gases are considered pollutants only when they are cause harm. Okay, when they cause harm. Again, so gas pollutants include what? Include carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and ground level ozone. But these gases are considered pollutants only when they cause harm. For example, ozone is important in the stratosphere, but at ground level it is harmful to breathe it. Again, for example, we said that gases are considered pollutants only when they are likely to cause harm. When they cause harm. For example, ozone is important in the stratosphere, but at ground level is harmful to breathe it. Ozone is important in the stratosphere, but at ground level is harmful to breathe it. Carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen dioxide are released from what? Come from what? From burning fossil fuels in vehicles, factories, and homes. Okay, so carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide are released from what? From burning fossil fuels in vehicles, factories, and homes. These gases are a major source of air pollution. Okay, so again, we said that gases are considered pollutants only when they cause harm. For example, ozone is important in the stratosphere, but at ground level is harmful to breathe it. Okay? Carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide are released from burning fossil fuels, and they are a major source of air pollution. The second type of air pollution, we said that air pollution includes or classified into two types, gases and particulates. The second type, particulates. Particulates, what's meant by particulates? Particle pollutants can be easier to see than gas pollutants. Particle pollutants can be easier to see than gas pollutants. Why? Because particulate is a tiny particle of solid, particle of solid that is suspended in air or water. Again, particle pollutants can be easier to see than gas pollutants. Why? because a particulate is a tiny particle of solid that is suspended in air or water. Smoke contains ash, which is a particulate. Smoke is considered as particulate. Smoke is considered as what? Yes, a particulate. The wind can pick up dust, ash, and pollen and blow them far from their source. The vehicle exhaust also contains particulates. So we have many types of particulates. Vehicle exhaust, ash, pollen, dust. Okay, the particulates in vehicle exhaust are a measure called of air pollution in cities. So, gases, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, major source of air pollution. And vehicle exhaust are measure called of air pollution. Okay, so in this session, we talked about air pollution, which comes from the burning of fossil fuels. And we classify air pollutants into two types, gases and particulates. Gases like what? Like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and ground level ozone. These gases are considered pollutants only when they cause harm. Like what? Like ozone. It's important in the stratosphere, but at ground level it's harmful to breathe it. Number 2, particulates. What's meant by particulates is a tiny particle of solid. Tiny particle of solid. Smoke contains ash with the particulate. So particulate like what? Like ash, like smoke, like dust. And the wind can pick up dust, ash, and pollen and blow them far from their source. And also particulate like what? Like vehicle exhaust, which come from which may cause air pollution. And the major cause of air pollution is the particulates in vehicle exhaust. We finished our session today. Thank you, grade 8, and goodbye.